All right, here we go. This is the Texas Cornhole Show. I'm Jonathan Zarzynski with Grant Upchurch and Baron Hodo. And today we have a special guest, a D1 Yapper, Mr. Trey Sparks.
What's going on, guys?
Let's go, Trey.
Yeah, welcome, Trey.
Yeah, Trey, introduce yourself. Who are you? What are you about?
Well, appreciate the invite coming out this week. Kind of the voice of TCL, learning to be the voice of TCL. Commentate on a lot of the rounders and brackets and championship games for the big tournaments, all the signature series that we go to 1 through 5, and then the state championship games.
And how long have you been doing it?
Oh man, just with TCL, I guess the last 2 years, but I've been around a microphone for quite a while. I guess my one claim to fame is in college is I karaoke one song only. It's Vanilla Ice, Ice, baby. That's,
there you go.
Day or night, 1 beer, 70 beers, 1 shot, 3 shots. It's probably going to go down at some form or fashion. I'll do it at weddings also.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, I don't charge very much for
Everybody
those,
needs to have one karaoke song.
Absolutely.
One karaoke song.
Absolutely. One that you don't have to look at the little screen for.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Put
worry
some
about
passion
that.
behind.
That's right.
Have you got one, Grant?
A couple dance moves.
No. Now
Baron?
I know I got to have one.
You got to. You got to find one.
What's yours?
Oh, it's Kryptonite, I think.
3 Doors Down.
3 Doors Down, Kryptonite.
Absolutely.
That's my go-to.
All right, Baron.
Nice. I'm probably the Humpty Dance. That's me, you know. It definitely takes a few drinks for that one, but I'll throw it out there.
Although, Lake of Fire was one for a little bit for me, so I guess I've got 2.
If you want a real easy one, you can do that song that all you got to say is tequila.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
That's right.
All right.
But then you have to stand there that whole time and just wait and get
That's
the
the funny
timing
part.
just right,
Well, I'm sure he's got dance moves.
No.
No.
You can't do the gritty, right, the whole time?
No.
No?
Can't.
All right, so Trey, you've been killing it on the mic. I mean, you have talent, you have passion, you're doing a fantastic job. Everybody loves your commentary. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into it, why you're so passionate about it? It is something that you've always really liked to do? Is it something that you kind of discovered?
Yeah, I've always liked to. I guess I've got the gift of gab. I guess it can be a good thing and a bad thing, but I used to dub over baseball games on a cassette tape back in the day when you had to press play and record at the same time.
We're about the same age, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it just kind of goes back to that. And growing up in junior high and high school, I did oratory competitively, things of that nature. And then I believe 2 years ago, kind of when they brought Andy and other people involved and started doing a little commentary, I was like, I wonder if I can get up there and talk about cornhole. And just kind of evolved into using that gift of gab and talking about cornhole, meeting people, kind of introducing them, seeing what they like, being able to talk about them as they play, introduce strategy to maybe some of the people at home who don't know strategy or just getting into cornhole, and plugging a bunch of sponsors and just kind of driving everyone that, like I said, doesn't know a lot about cornhole to our events, to our leagues, and just kind of going from there.
Yeah, so to kind of take a little bit of a step back, so you commentate all of TCL's biggest events, and TCL has done a pretty good job over the last 1.5 to 2 years of live streaming their matches. For a while, it was just on their own domain, but the last one, they started putting it out on other social media platforms like Facebook and YouTube, and I think they got some pretty good viewership, I think.
We did a test run at the SIG in Shreveport for 2.5 minutes just to see what would happen on Facebook and YouTube. And in that 2.5 minutes, we had approximately 230 viewers, and it reached 4,700 people. And we were like, wow, and just that quick. However, looking at the numbers after night one of singles, it reached over 335,000 people. On Facebook.
That is the future, man. I mean, I think awesome. It's so great that cornhole can have, all these viewers. I think, getting on ESPN is great and everything, but for the most part, most of the cornhole I watch is on some kind of social media platform. Mm-hmm. It's somebody streaming on their phone, or it's like the K9 guy, which is a good example, right? He kind of built his own setup that he took places. And then we have Andy Blada, the most industrious man on the planet that TCL crossed paths with, and now he comes and puts on a great show, right? And he's been able to put on it's fantastic. It's 4K footage, streaming, and he has every lane set up for commentary if TCL wants to take advantage of that, right? And that's one of the questions that I think Kelly Hatcher asked. He wanted to know, do you think like the third lane should be commentated? Or I think the broader question is, do you think that all lanes should have commentary?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been thrown around for quite a while now, and Kelly brought that up again on the Facebook post. So TCL's expanding their options in terms of how many people should be up there, who's talking about what, when are people up there. I mean, at any point in time, you've got open, you've got advanced, you've got competitive, and you've got social up there. And a lot of people have noticed, hey, we're only commentating on open games, or we're only commentating on these high-profile people specifically. So yeah, right now TCL is exploring all of their options in terms of getting someone up there, maybe just in the aspect of calling out scores and introducing players, all the way to another duo, maybe on another lane that's kind of the play-by-play and the color commentary.
So talk a little bit about that, Trey, if you don't mind. Just obviously, as this thing evolves and more people are watching and listening, what is your preparation like? Like, you mentioned how many new players were coming to the game, right? And obviously, you don't know all of them. You know, the Sammys of the world, the Grants of the world, Logans, et cetera, JBJ. But people that you don't know, are you prepared for those individuals, or how do you have a discussion?
Yeah, of course. Seymour and I, we start talking about signature series coming up 3 to 4 weeks beforehand. You know, and we're going down. We start with open. Hey, who's playing together? Who's not playing together? Let's put a list together. Hey, who's our top 5? Who's our top 10 singles? Things like that. But we're starting to like broaden our horizons. Hey, we're going to start looking at advanced, because as everyone loves the TCSM that's been handed out in TCL this year, people are moving up, people are moving down. So these teams are starting to evolve into pairings that we don't really know and that we haven't really seen in the past. Because as we know, in the past, a lot of people pair up for the whole season.
Right.
We're not really seeing that a whole lot. So Seymour and I, we get together, like I said, about 3 or 4 weeks beforehand and just start comparing notes. Hey, who do you think? Who do you like? What do you know about this guy? What do you know about this girl? How do we know this team? What do we think they're going to do? And we just kind of run with it from there.
Nice.
So do you watch our show, and have you seen how we pick teams in the open division before each signature series?
I have listened to every show up to anything that was uploaded this week.
Oh, well, I uploaded one late last night that I probably shouldn't have. But going back to that topic, what do you think about the way we pick teams and the fact that I'm winning just because I go by SPR?
You're getting lucky.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you don't think that SPR is by far the best objective way to determine how a team is going to do in a competition like I do?
I think anyone can have a good day and anyone can have a bad day. And your SPR might be an average of everything that you do, but I think it's kind of like any given Sunday, honestly.
Well, I agree that it is, that, you know, there's a reason we play the matches. But if you have to predict what's going to happen, SPR is by far the best predictor of what's going to happen, and it just keeps proving itself to be true.
Well, then all I can say is that your philosophy seems to be working at this point.
Would you like to have your own pick'em list for every SIG moving forward on our show? Because
No.
you get together, you don't want to do that? Oh, because it might bias your commentary. Is that where you're going?
Bingo.
Yeah, because you take it seriously.
I have to. I have to, man, because people who aren't there that watch, I mean, they're only being able to view it through the words that we're putting out to them, right? And I haven't always been able to be unbiased, and I've learned, honestly, by going out and contacting those people and talking to them more at tournaments, finding out a little bit more about them than just what I see on the boards or the stuff I see on Facebook or the chatter that I hear just in the cornhole BS community, talking a little mad crap about people, that there's a lot more to people than just what you see and what you hear. So to stay unbiased 100%, you have to do that.
So what gets you more excited as as SIG continues to go on or state or whatever the case may be, when you start seeing these players at the top tier start moving up the ladder, et cetera, do you like to see matchups that are expected? Like if you see JBJ and Grant or Sammy, if if you see those guys, or do you really like someone coming in that's maybe an unknown that is just really excelling at those events? What gets you more excited on the broadcast?
I like to see someone play that I don't really know. I now know who Hayden Morris is.
Yeah.
Can't say that I really knew who he was before the last SIG. However, with the ability now with Scoreholio to watch brackets and check PPRs and DPRs and things of that nature, you can kind of see who's got it that day and who doesn't. And Seymour and I'll sit there and they'll say, hey, look at Hayden, look who he just went through, things of that nature. Look at the gauntlet that he just beat A and B and C and D, and then making it to the finals and being able to watch someone that we either haven't seen play a lot or hasn't been in the finals the last 6-7 times. It's good to see some new faces there and calling some new games.
Is there anyone that's maybe catching your eye now that you're kind of got on your radar that may not be a well-known person in the cornhole community?
Hayden for sure was one that I didn't expect. He came out of nowhere for me personally, but I don't know, when I bet on football games, I like favorites, right? So I like seeing the tried and true veterans keep making it through also, because I think that provides some of the closest matches and provides a lot of the action that we're looking for.
Gotcha.
So has there been a particular match that was your favorite to call, or one that stands out in your memory that was just a really good match to call?
Well, the one that stands out in my memory the most, going back to Mesquite, kind of talked about it pre-show. Sammy throws out a turn, and Logan takes his bag and spikes it.
Yeah.
And just the energy that it threw throughout the crowd and everyone watching, everyone playing. I mean, that got me hyped. And I'm the one that's supposed to try to stay even keel and, communicate to everyone else what's going on. But yeah, I think I may have dropped a few expletives when you did that.
Was I in the booth with you when that happened?
I believe you were.
I think it was
You're
me,
about
you,
2
and
feet
Kevin,
away.
maybe.
You and I for sure. I don't know who the third person was.
I think it might have been Kevin Meza. But yeah, I think that was back in my drinking days, so it's a very, very partial memory. Yeah, that's great. So Dan Rogie wants to know how many fights Grant Duffy got you in.
Man, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I
Is that a 0?
yeah, I don't really throw hands.
How many fights did he almost get you in? And what is this about Grant Duffy getting in fights a lot? Like, from what I know of him, I've only had positive experiences with him.
Grant Duffy got into a fight with a steel girder at Blue Sky in Richardson.
I don't know what a steel girder is.
Steel girder is a building material, and that's how he broke his knuckles. But no, there's
So he punched something.
yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay. Is he a hothead?
Some people are when they lose. Some people are that have red hair when they lose.
Oh, maybe I need to beat him. Maybe that's what it is. Because one time I played him, he got me at a 6 series. So.
Yeah, most people don't get upset when they get
Right, he was
when they
pretty
get
happy, actually. I was mad, too, because it was one of the times where they had opened, like, right by the front door, and I got the outside lane, so people were, like, walking right by me constantly. It was pissing me off. I lost my focus and lost.
That's
Not
okay.
an excuse. He beat me fair and square, but I was pissed.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what else we got? CJ wants to know about you and bag raffles. So did you invent bag raffling?
I didn't invent it, but I sure as heck took advantage of it during the COVID time frame. The biggest bag raffle that I had was a set of South Dallas Cornhole BG Mercenaries or Vikings. Well, maybe it was the Wizard is what it was.
Oh, okay.
And I got them in a raffle on a $25 entry, and they got shipped to me. I immediately put them back up. I think it was 25 spots, $35. So I think I made $625.
Insane.
And then I drew Duke Doss's name.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, shipped them to Duke Doss, and I think 48 hours later he said, "Hey, can you raffle these for me?" It was an absolutely insane time for bags.
Why has that changed? Like, I haven't seen a bag raffle. It barely happens. Like, bag raffles are dead now. Is it because there's a million bag makers and bags aren't as hard to get as they used to be?
100%. There's
Yeah.
a million bags, a lot of the same materials, just a different logo on it. Yeah, that's the main reason.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because
Yeah, that's bullshit for you,
paying
buddy.
bills.
All right. Well, Juan, who I have to give a specific shout out. Thank you for all the very well thought out topics and things to talk about from Juan Pantoja. He wants to know about post and pre-fight, pre-match interviews. I think in the octagon after a fight, those are some of the most classic moments in the MMA and in boxing too. And also in fighting, you have the entry, right? The smokes, machines. What about the song that plays when you come in?
Sure.
So, what do you think about adding a pre-match interview or some kind of introduction, maybe a pre-recorded introduction, a post-match interview? Now, I've seen a post-match interview. It was with, it doesn't matter who it was with, but I remember a couple of guys were on in the commentating booth after they had played.
Yeah,
right?
I think we had Cannon Hatcher and Zoe Gann come up to the booth.
Well, are you guys going to keep that going, or what's the plan?
It all really just, it's the vibe that night, right? When Johnny and I get done after 8, 10, 12 hours, sometimes I don't want to talk to anybody else. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
just like those guys, they're ready to get their plaque, they're ready to get their money, they're ready to get out of there.
Well, they got to spend 2 minutes talking to you.
I don't
just hit them with a
disagree.
few questions.
I don't disagree. It's something I've thrown to Chad and Jason because there's a lot of time between bracket and the end of bracket when we know who's going to be in the doubles final or the singles final or whatever, and when the win open is going to play, and it's a prime opportunity to be able to pull those guys aside and ask a few questions. But what I'd like to see, and we've got to separate ourselves in some way, shape, and form just to keep people coming back for the show, is open is our main, open our players are our biggest attractions, right? To set aside some time, get a TCL blow up of some sort, throw some smoke in there, and watch these guys walk out to
their song,
a song that they've decided, hey, this is our doubles team song.
Are you going to go Bruce Buffer on the mic?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Hailing from?
Yeah, absolutely. Standing 6'1", 225. I mean, I think it'd be cool.
So do you think if we went, or TCL decided to go that route, don't we really have to go back to a championship Saturday to have singles and doubles on the same night?
Yes, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of crowds. I'm a big fan of everyone getting hyped up. Back in the day, I can remember when I'm sitting there watching Upchurch and Murdoch versus Herrera and Mason Vega. Every time, I think it was Murdoch. Every time Murdoch puts one in, Upchurch is raising his hand. Every time Mason or Herrera puts one in, the cartel goes wild. You know what I mean? Granted, the times were a little different. I mean, people were 3.5 feet from people throwing.
Right next to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. But to have that amount of people stay for those championship games and to see that level of cornhole and the popularity of TCL, I think it'd be great.
I agree.
What do you think about kicking it off with open singles? Kind of the way the MMA does it, with they start off with a banger.
Absolutely. You kind of sprinkle in some of the predetermined, really good matches.
You know it's going to be good. It's going to get people to watch and pay
Mm-hmm.
attention. You're probably going to see some great shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to one of the questions. It was Kelly Hatch's question about having commentary on every lane,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some of those matches just aren't that exciting. Let's be honest. The social finals, right?
I'll be honest with you. It's hard for me to commentate social. I want little Johnny to do really well in his match, and I want him to play really good against whoever. But it's hard to commentate 4-on-4 washes for 35 minutes, and that's because that's the group of people that's learning. They're learning the game. They're learning strategy. They're learning technique. Versus you get JBJ versus Hayden Morris, and you see we're talking about bag angles and bag flight and backloading bags and airmails and strategy, things of that nature. It's just different.
For the purpose of argument, I'm going to just throw this out there.
Shoot.
Sometimes watching those high-level players play as boring as it can get. And a good example would be JBJ versus Sammy last year, maybe in Lubbock. My God, that was boring. It was bag after bag after bag in the hole.
Yeah,
Nobody threw a blocker.
Each one 35 plus in a row, right?
Yeah, I mean, how boring is that? I think it's super boring. Where on the other hand, you have little Johnny who's playing with his grandpa, maybe, made it to the main stage. They've been battling all day. And those, he boards it. The low scoring and the mistakes can be very exciting. It can be exciting to watch. We know the game's going to be over within 30 minutes, right? And there's going to be big moments, big mistakes usually, or big shots. They happen to hit an airmail. Oh my God, they hit an airmail on the big stage. All these people watching, they probably haven't hit an airmail like that in their entire life, right? Like I think it could be very exciting.
Yeah, and that's why I go back to one of the options that TCL is talking about is having someone who is there on those other lanes just to bring up score, bring up, hey, Johnny and his dad, they're up. They're down, left side, right side, things of that nature. So it's not just the sound of bag on board with nothing else.
I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, Andy comes with the technology. Everybody can have their games commentated. And why not?
Sure.
Like, what's the reason to not have it?
Sure.
So from a broadcast standpoint and just an excitement standpoint from the crowd, right? If we brought back, or TCL brought back Championship Saturday, would you want to see the open singles and doubles finals alone, right? Right now they have 2 or 3 courts going on simultaneously, right? Would you want to really pinpoint that so the crowd really got into it and watched it?
I don't necessarily think for singles to be alone. I think you play those out, all divisions. I think you play doubles out. I think you save open doubles as the feature. It's the end all be all. It's what TCL always ends with. It's supposed to be the banger. It's supposed to be the 4 best dudes on that day. So I think you run everything else out, and then you leave it for those guys.
Okay.
During the day, some people have thought and proposed that only open and advanced should be on those main 3 courts that gets the commentary. Not necessarily brackets, but like during rounders, right? What do you think about that? Do you think the socials and the competitive should be able to play on the main court during the day, during rounders? Yeah,
I think so. I think during rounders, rounders for sure. Give those guys who may not have an opportunity to ever get up there a chance to have their number called on the main stage. I think when it gets to the bracket play and later on down into the bracket play, my preference is to kind of funnel the big names and the big games to the big courts.
All right, what's your favorite Signature Series venue?
It's probably Shreveport.
Really?
Just because of the space available.
Right? How'd you like the layout this time around?
I liked it a lot. Because I could see all the commentary courts, but then I could also turn around and I could watch the games from the commentary catwalk that I was following in Scorholio. So I could see what was going on behind me as I'm telling people, hey, Grant and so-and-so, Grant's up 19-4. Looks like he's going to play Juanito in the next round on court number 2.
So do you have direct control on who you bring onto those courts?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah. Well, but that's new. Yeah. That's new.
It is.
It wasn't always the case.
No, it is. It is new. We just kind of we started that this past SIG where it was, hey, look at the brackets and let's push this matchup to the main stage. I'm a huge fan of the game, and I can't stand when there's a loser bracket game. Let's say you and Sammy on court 97, way off in the corner, and there's 75 people over there. When we have every single one of the main courts not being used, and we have stands for that reason, I like to be able to say or text Kanabe, hey man, let's pause this one and let's push this other one up here. And then, Scorholio, we know what it does. It fills everybody else.
Right. Yeah, having direct control can probably help you, and the information you're getting on certain people too, to be able to talk about someone in the winner side that you already have information on is a lot better than just getting a game thrown up there that you may not know anything about the guys on the loser bracket,
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to know a little bit of something about everyone coming up there. Sometimes we'll kind of go dark and I'll say, Seymour, you know anything about this guy? where's your little list of where he's from or how many sisters and brothers he has, what kind of dog he has, things of that nature.
Now, what kind of research is Johnny doing on players? What kind of efforts is he putting into that?
Oh, Seymour's the man when it comes to background information. Johnny's got a database. I don't know how many players are in it, but it's exclusive. And Johnny's been collecting information on people for probably 2 or 3 years at least. And that's just what he has documented. I mean, that guy's got a mind like a steel trap.
Oh, yeah.
He can come up with the wildest things. How'd you know that about that guy? Oh, I talked to him in line when we were getting hot dogs. Oh, okay.
He just starts asking questions, and he remembers.
He does. And, he likes to do a little bit of the photo stuff.
Yeah.
And so he'll ask questions and when he's doing stuff like that. And then randomly we pulled aside the silent assassin Cale Harrell last tournament just to ask him a few questions. He didn't talk much.
Yeah, a little silent assassin.
Yeah, absolutely. Fits him.
So I know that there's one thing talked about with you and Johnny was the direction the boards are facing. I think the way the boards are facing may not be helpful to y'all, but it gets the crowd way more involved. You can sit deeper into the stands. You can see all the games. So how do you think you can fix it where y'all can both have the best angle?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not ideal calling the games when they're running straight in front of you. It's nice to be able to kind of do the whole tennis thing, right? But TCL's got it set up for the viewer. People are sitting in those stands. They're wanting to see the players. They don't really care about us. But you kind of gotta move a little bit. You kind of got to move and shake. But what Seymour and I have actually done this past tournament was, I don't know if anyone noticed, but we took sides this last tournament where he would commentate on people throwing away from us, and I would commentate on people throwing to us. And basically that kind of came about based upon who could see which board. And since he's 18 inches shorter than I am, sometimes he can see the close one and I can't, or things like that. So it's not ideal for us, but we've got monitors that we can pull up any game on, and I'm watching the same game that we're commentating. So, after 3 hours of standing up, if I just want to watch the TV, I can still do the same job. I can still say the same things, and I can still portray the same hype if I was standing up watching it.
Do you think there's a way to integrate a way for y'all commentating a game, a huge frame happens, and y'all can just press a button, clip it? The last 30 seconds gets clipped right there. Is there any way to work something like that in?
There's got to be. I've got a lot of ideas working with Andy on for things like that, quick replays, maybe the last 15 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it may be. But we have the ability to fill the time between, picking up the bags or someone calls timeout, something of that nature, to go with a lot of great shots, because it doesn't matter who's up there. There's a lot of great cornhole that's being played all day.
Well, I think even having those clips get saved to something that you have access to, where you can even, Voice of TCL kind of Facebook page, whatever you want to do, and you post kind of the best moments. You do the best clips. I think you can build quite a following on that.
Yeah, I've kind of started doing that on my own TikTok. I go back to the live streams and I take notes during the games where, hey, there's a tight spot, a big roll or a big fly or something of that nature, and I know which game at what point of the score is, and then I go back and I clip those and kind of put them up on my TikTok, and I've gotten some pretty cool interaction from people regarding that.
If you could pick earphones or no earphones in championship matches
for the players,
you get to choose if the players get to or don't get to.
Oh, I would prefer that they didn't.
I know you gotta let them hear it.
I prefer that they didn't, because I want to see without earphones who can drown it out. Who can zone in on their game with everyone yelling for or against you? Because I've played in Shreveport, and I've had a dude's wife 3.5 feet to my left screaming at me every time I miss and he makes. So I'm just not an earphone guy. But, I would like to see an all no earphone final.
It's just part of it, It's just part of it. You don't see any basketball players running out there with the AirPods on,
No.
I know it's different, absolutely. But, okay, tennis players aren't rolling out there with earphones on.
Mm-mm.
Well, they can't. It's against the rules.
Right.
Like in golf, you can't either. Because you can get like a metronome playing it in your earphones. It's a device you can use to cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and technically you could do the same thing with cornhole. I've actually played with that.
Oh, you're a cheater.
Wow.
You're a cheater.
One in to go.
The admission.
I'm not a cheater because there's nothing in cornhole that says I can't use a metronome while I throw.
What about Adderall?
Nothing that says you can't do that either.
Oh, okay.
So
What about
take it.
crossing the line?
Also, Adderall made me super anxious while playing, so it didn't work. It backfired. But crossing the line in TCL is illegal, and people who do cross the line are cheaters.
And I'm going to say this because it needs to be said. I don't care if your opponent is 8 years old. I don't care if he's 28 years old, 48 years old. If they're crossing the line, you tell them not to cross the line. If they cross the line again, go get a TCL representative. And from that point on, they start watching the match. I don't understand or know why people are so scared to make someone play by the rules. Last Thursday night at League, Ty Trevino, I said, we threw our down and backs. I stepped 4 feet in front of my board and I said, hey, Ty, don't forget, you can't cross that line.
Yeah.
First 3 rounds, all his bags were left. But he's a good enough player. He corrected and he whooped our ass. So these kids know they can do it.
They know the rule.
They can do it.
And they know they can do it too. It's not that hard to stay behind the line. You didn't listen to our last episode. It's only
The one that shouldn't have been posted?
It's only downloadable audio. I did not post the video. But yeah, we do talk a little bit about crossing the line.
Yeah. And, I mean, look, it's just something that everyone should call out anyone who does it.
I agree. But I just stopped calling people out because it creates so much controversy.
You made so many enemies.
You do. And I get an adrenaline dump. Like when I call somebody out, I get the boom, fight or flight.
Yeah.
That's what happens to me, right? I can't do it and not get that result. And usually when I call somebody out, it's always this, no, I didn't, or just a little attitude oh, you're going to call me out?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. It's against the rules.
Or someone's dad says, I can't believe you're going to call my kid out on that.
Yeah. Well, he's crossing the line, sir. Crossing the line is, you are one of those guys that calls people out, and you're an advocate for not crossing over the line.
Absolutely.
What do you think about the ACL's new rule? Or what do you think about ACL's rule in general that you can cross it, and then the new rule where you can cross it, but you have to keep a foot in the box?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of a live stream this last weekend, and the one guy that I caught was little Ryan Trader.
Yeah.
Great player. But to see him have to think about not lifting that foot off the ground and keep it in the box, I mean, he makes it work, but I don't know a lot of people who don't play as much as he does that are going to be able to be that successful.
He made a big change in his mechanics, or his foot mechanics, going into this season.
However,
you got to respect.
I also saw 480 other people who didn't keep their feet in the box.
Didn't.
Right.
And there wasn't really any punishment for it.
Now, Trey Ryder and Grant alluded to this in our last show, right? He said it's not a rules problem, it's an officiating problem. And arguably, we have the same problem in TCL, right? Where you mentioned if somebody's crossing the line at a Signature Series event, I have to go find a TCL representative who's sober, right? Good luck if it's later on in the evening. Who do I find? Where are these people? What do I do? Do I go up to where Kanabe is? Do I go get Mr. JD?
As far as I know, that's where you would go.
To start walking around, help! I got a cheater, help me! Because that's what the other problem. I call the guy out, now what do? I got to go find somebody?
Yeah, because it doesn't happen very much. It's not a standard practice for them to have an official waiting by to be called upon. So I don't really know how that would play out. But I mean, Jason sat there at was it State last year?
State.
And watched Preston.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, if we're going to do it on that stage, then that's got to set the precedent that it can be done in rounders, bracket play, and the
I
mid
understand that, but I completely disagreed with how that instance was handled.
Sure, I agree with that.
I mean, by someone comes to the match and doing what happened, it takes me, the person that's not calling it, out of my game too. Mm-hmm. So I think it's got to be on the person to say something, because some people, it's not worth their time.
So all you had to do was look at Jason and say, yeah, I want you officiating this. That's all he really had to do, right? And you decided not to do it. Let him step over the line.
So it's been discussed, right, to have rolling officials, right, that are walking the floor, right? I don't know if that's ever come to fruition or if it's been thought any more about, but I know a couple of years ago there was some discussion about having 3 or 4 officials that walk the floor nonstop.
Well, there needs to be, because those officials could also be used for showing people how to fix tablets. You know, they touched my bag when I still had a bag left. Instead of stopping the game, coming all the way up to master controls, hey, what do we do? And then Jason going all the way over and explaining to it. I mean, they could be used for multiple.
Or how many timeouts did we get? That's another one.
Yeah.
Like in ACL, they increased their timeout number. So people seem to think you have like almost infinite timeouts in TCL, and you don't. Grant knows the rule. What's the rule, Grant?
No, it's 1 timeout for doubles, 2 timeouts for singles.
Bingo.
1 timeout for doubles.
Correct.
Now, have you seen that rule been broken?
Yes.
Yes.
And I love calling that one out specifically because that's, no, dude, you got someone on the other side to tell you what to do. You only get 1 timeout.
Yeah.
One.
What's the penalty for that?
It has.
Nothing.
I don't know what the penalty is for it. I would imagine it's a loss of bag.
My thing on the stepping over the line. Like, if I'm playing you, you're playing me. I'm going to call you. I'm going to call it on you, and you're going to say, okay. Like,
usually that's how it plays out.
Your peanut gallery over there shouldn't all of a sudden just.
Oh, they get mad.
Oh, they get
it's
furious.
The people not involved.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. They get furious. And, I mean, hey, you paid the membership to follow these rules. I mean, we should call them out infinitely.
Well, it's a competition. And in competition, the only thing that makes competition is the rule set that you play by. That's it. Without the rules you're playing by, it's not even a competition, right?
The only caveat, like he said, though, if it's not affecting me, then go ahead and do it.
And that's the way the TCL rulebook is written. You have to call them out to get for it to start.
The problem is that once people do call them out, the response to that is always the worst case scenario, or it can be the worst case scenario where it's an argument, and that's not what it should be. Hey, that's the rule. Just don't cross it.
Right.
And what do you think about illegal bags?
Oh, I don't know anybody that uses illegal bags.
You don't?
Nobody.
What if I knew like all the bags that are illegal? What do I do at a TCL event? Do I go find JD again? Hey, these bags are illegal. What is he going to do about it?
What's JD going to do to prove that the bag's illegal?
What tools does he have?
Exactly.
Yeah. I provided TCL with like 20 of them, and who knows?
20 illegal bags?
No, 20 tools to test if a bag's illegal or not. Because they distribute all the bags, so you should never distribute an illegal bag if you are distributing all the bags and you are the league.
Well, my wife sews, so I just take your bag and I take the fill out of it. I put it into the bags that I like, sew it back up, and see what happens.
Yeah, if you take out some filler and they're a little bit thinner, they're money around the hole. All right, so moving on from cheating, we got some other questions.
Mr. Metronome.
Yeah, it's a waltz time. Bum, bum, bum. Anyway.
You start with the old...
I stopped doing that.
Did you really?
Yeah. You know why?
No.
So Trey is alluding to this thing. I used to always start my process by hitting my leg. I've stopped doing that because number one, I've stopped competing. But number two, it messes up my grip a little bit. So I want to get a really good, perfect grip and feel good about that grip. And hitting my leg was messing that up.
I think you think a lot.
I think too much. And that's one of the reasons I'm not good at cornhole. Too many things going on up here.
I think I have a grip. I think I have 4 different grips every single round.
Dude, my Hunter Clayton, he's got every throw in his bag. He has a Rolodex of throws he goes to where if one's not working, we're going to throw it in the trash. Let's try a new one. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I hate that he doesn't stick with one thing.
Is he back? I saw him at SIG.
Nah, he's just around.
Yeah, he and I were partners at SIG.
He's around.
But I have a question for you. So, back to your playing days, right? You had a celebration that you love to do. I don't know how often you did it, if there were certain times you love to do it, etc. I would like to know the backstory behind your celebration, and if you think that there should be more celebrations in cornhole.
It's your fault.
Whoa.
Here we go.
All right, this is news to me. What are you talking about?
First of all, that just does not surprise me because everything's Grant's fault. So.
Facts. What are you talking about?
Dude, when I first started playing, wasn't it you that would take the arrow?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I love the arrow, bro. I love the arrow.
He did it on national television.
And it's one of those things. I got into cornhole, and I was looking up who's good, who's not good, what is this? oh, wow. He hits a 4-bagger, grabs an arrow, and shoots it. I was like, I got to have one of those.
Yeah, you got one.
So my first season in social, I did the old Rogers discount double check.
Oh, yeah. That's an all-time favorite right there.
Yeah. But then it graduated. For my second season, I was like, well, I got to come up with something different. So, I hit him with the old binoculars because can you see my bags? I can't either because they're all in the hole.
I like it.
And there's a cool picture from Waco a couple years back. I had gotten food poisoning, so I went through bracket and I played Juanito in the finals, and I threw really well. And back when when we were doing the whole cartel thing, and I've got a snapshot from the live stream, and I threw a 4-bagger, and Matt Longoria's 18 vodka cranberries deep, hat on sideways, and he's just walking around like this, and I was like, that's what's up. That's what's up. So I don't. My 4-bagger percentage has gone down quite a bit since having another child, but it's still cool to hit them. More people hit me with it than I hit them with it.
Well, it's memorable.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think there should be more?
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's gotten kind of a little lame. People don't do it anymore.
No, because for me, I use it to get into your head.
To a degree, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It got in my head when I had to play against you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin McQuistion. That kid, you hit him with it one time, that dude just might as well give up the game.
Well, I didn't know you did it. So like we're playing each other. This is back before when I first started. I didn't know you, barely knew your name. And I'm going to throw, because you just threw a 4-bagger. I'm going to throw my bag. And I kind of noticed you do something out of the corner of my eye. As I'm like, what the fuck? What is he doing? And then I learned to pay attention. And then I was like, okay, I would wait. And you would throw your last bag. You got a 4-bagger. I'd wait. And then, okay, you're doing your dance. All right. All right, now it's done. Okay, now I'm going to throw my bag.
I'm trying to get Denise McAvoy in league to hit me with it, but she's not a real big celebrator.
She's reserved,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but I would love to see other people come up with something, whether it's just I don't know. You know who Chesson Hadley is? He's a golfer, but he pops his finger like that every time he gets a birdie or eagle, and it's just like his little that was a good shot or something. But yeah, I would like to see people get hyped up. I mean, for me, that's how. Since I'm not great, I got to do anything and everything that I can to get in that other person's head, in their way, to give myself an advantage.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so I got a couple more questions. Unless you guys have more stuff to talk about, we'll wrap it up. Roro, who we have to give a shout out because the dude has cornhole events constantly in the DFW area and has since I started. Roro's Cornhole Express. Yeah. He wants to know the best burger. What's your best burger in town? You got to have it one last hamburger from the DFW Metroplex. Where are you going?
I'm vegetarian.
Stop it. How long have you been vegetarian?
I'm not vegetarian, bro. Get out of here.
Jeez.
The best burger are the burgers that I make.
Ooh, I want to know all about it. Start from...
Well, I mean, I can't give my secrets.
It's not a competition.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Cooking is something you can share your secrets with. It's not like this is cornhole bag making, and I'm going to rip off your material. And
all right.
Worcestershire, Worcester, however you want to say it.
Well, what kind of meat, bro?
Garlic salt. 90-10?
90-10, okay. Yeah. And then how are you preparing your patties? Are you using the lid from the mayonnaise jar?
I've got a template.
What's the template?
It's a little plastic. It's a little plastic piece. It's got a top and a bottom. You put some meat in there. You smash it. Yeah, it makes the perfect burger. And then open the top, or dump it out. Put the next one in, so they all look perfect.
Yeah, okay. The mayonnaise jar lid. Go ahead.
If you put your thumb in the middle of it, when you flip it, it doesn't get all. Sometimes they'll go flat.
Yeah,
they won't do that.
So you like them a little thick when they're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Like how thick is your...
No one likes a 1/4-inch hamburger that's this big.
I do.
Oh.
You do too? I like the thin ones. I don't like the meatloaf sandwiches that people are handing out as hamburgers. That's not a hamburger to me. That's a meatloaf sandwich.
Well, to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. So wait, what are you putting on your hamburger? You've got your perfect patty. It's been cooked. And you're searing it in a pan on the stove, I assume, or are you grilling it?
Straight grilled.
Okay, you're grilling it.
Yeah.
You're a propane tank, or are we doing wood?
No. I think you can taste propane. So I stopped cooking with propane a long time ago.
Charcoal?
No, I'm a pellet grill guy.
Pellet grill guy. What kind of pellet grill?
I've got a Traeger 780 Pro.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I got a Yoder 640, baby.
When you have kids, the ability to just set it, it's the old George Foreman grill, set it and forget it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, money.
It's easy. Yeah.
All right, so it's coming off your pellet grill, your patty. What are you doing? You got your sesame buns toasted?
I'm not a big bread guy, so I usually only use the bottom.
What? So you're
Yeah.
holding it with just the bottom and then your fingers are on the meat?
Yeah.
Is it anything but-
lettuce?
No wonder it's your favorite burger. It's specially made for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. Like, I can't get this at a restaurant. I'm trying to
Bread just fills me up. I'm just not a big bread guy, but I'll do bread with mayo. Definitely no mustard. Onions, a little bit of relish, a little
raw
ketchup.
onion?
Yeah.
You put ketchup on your burger?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
No,
Is that uncommon?
No, it's not. No. It's
Well,
not
I mean, when
uncommon.
I was 12, I did that.
wow.
Wow.
He's
Now
ketchup
we're all white.
shaming
You
you.
can't get some ketchup on you.
Facts.
What do you put on yours?
I do mustard and mayo, actually. I do a combo. So
I don't understand mustard, man. It's not
Yeah.
good.
No thanks. No thanks.
I love mustard. Super spicy. Kick it up a notch. Gourmet mustard, as spicy as it can get.
absolutely.
Basically horseradish is what I want.
The only mustard I'll eat is Chick-fil-A honey mustard.
Honey mustard from Chick-fil-A
That's it.
is gas. Absolutely.
Or Nuke's Eatery, their honey mustard on a salad. It's bomb.
Nuke's Eatery.
They
Nuke's
are
Eatery,
definitely
yeah.
younger than they look.
No kidding.
Yeah. Thank you, because I just turned 40 last month.
Thank you. I just turned 26.
All right. So I guess this will be our final topic, unless we have something else come up. The state fair is in town. Oscar Perez wants to know, what is your favorite thing to eat at the state fair?
I'm glad he's asking that because he can't get on any of the rides. So
Ouch.
Wow. Even the bumper cars.
Pew, pew.
I'm not a.
The pedal boat, the Swan pedal boats,
I
maybe?
probably haven't been to the state fair in 25 years.
Okay, so but
Not-
you have been.
Not a fan of it. Yeah.
So I was not a fan either. But I did go a week ago, right after, it was on Wednesday after we recorded the show. And I have to admit, I had a good time. It was nice.
So, better question. What's your favorite thing to waste? What's your favorite thing to waste money on at the fair
Me?
It's great.
in general?
Well, I mean, I ate food. I had like a deep fried Rocky Road, which
sounds pretty good.
it was like a ball of chocolate that had a breading and was deep fried, and then it was served with like powdered sugar, some little tiny marshmallows, candied pecans, and a side of vanilla ice cream. So it was like, a la mode. So it was the hot gooey chocolate, a piece of ice cream, and dude, that was
For
ridiculous.
$31, you
Yeah,
can have
exactly.
all of that.
That was my complaint about the fair, by the way. The prices were ridiculous. But I got into
No gunshots?
Oh gosh, why would you bring that up?
Oh, my bad.
Too soon.
That was okay. So we can't talk about. But we can. Okay, there's things that we're not supposed to talk about today that I wanted to talk about.
Did you have a turkey leg while you were there?
I did not. Okay, so we showed up, and I had a corny dog, not corn dog, at the Texas State Fair. There are corny dogs. Pretty good.
Fletcher's?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I had a mustard on it because that's how I like my corny dog.
Mid.
It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. And then, what I had not done before is I went to all of the car shows, checked out all the vehicles. My favorite building was the one that had all of like the state fair competition stuff, like Legos and paintings and pictures. The photography was cool. It gave me some ideas about like some pictures I can take. That was really cool to see. And then I was telling my buddy Brian, who took me there, Brian Skotak, who's been to the fair every year for like the last 45 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, the dude's a hardcore.
He's dedicated.
Yes. He loves the fair.
He's a fairy.
Yeah. So I told him we have to find some like a fairy. We have to
I
find
wasn't even going to comment.
we have to
I'm gonna
find
let that
some
one
like contest to enter for the state fair because that'd be fun. But that was a cool room, all the state fair contests, and we also watched a horse show, which was pretty incredible to be honest. There was a girl riding two horses it was like standing on two horses, like 1 foot on each horse. There was a dude with like a lasso doing some crazy stuff. It was good. But the Rocky Road ice cream was delicious, and then there was this. It was like a tater tot meets a crab cake. And
I
it
heard
was
about that.
insanely good. Yes, it was dangerously tasty. I would kind of want one right now.
Rides, I heard, are $8.
The rides stink. Don't do the rides.
No, you go waste your money on the games you can't win.
Don't do that either.
I
Just
love winning
eat
a
the
game I
food.
can't win.
Do you know how to win some of them? Because some of them have tricks.
No, I just want to try. I don't want to know the trick. I want to see if I can just beat the
They've
game.
got the little basketball hoops. I was actually thinking of you at one point when I walked by it. I was like, I
That are
bet
like
you
12
Grant
foot
could hit
tall.
that airmail.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tiny and like he's gonna throw it underhand. I bet. Like most guys are shooting it like a basketball.
Yeah.
Grant's going with his
Yeah.
like.
So I did a project this year at Six Flags, and one of the spaces that I had to go was in one of the ball games, right? And there's a big bucket, and it's sitting at a 45-degree angle, and you throw it in there, and it just bounces out at you. So I looked behind it, and wouldn't you know, the whole bottom side of the bucket is just loaded with tennis balls. And it just,
Okay, we know they're ripping us off. Don't act like we're surprised.
but I didn't know how.
But
you know.
what if I win a game I'm supposed to get ripped off on? So I can
Feels
win my
good,
little
huh?
prize. Feels pretty good.
It's pretty good.
You know what you should do?
Yeah, throw an arrow at it. I gotta bring that back.
yeah.
After doing that on ESPN, I was like, it'll never mean the same thing again. So I was like, I retired it. Now I got the fingers crossed thing. But
But you also do the
I do that. Also.
pistol blow.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I missed that. You
I
got
had
my
a-
brain flowing again. I'm gonna practice tonight on some people. I'm gonna celebrate.
My most watched TikTok is your when you scored 8 points on Preston.
And
I had
made
this.
that-
I had this. It said like GU doing GU things. Oh, and I was hyped. Give it to me. I'll take 8. that was my most watched TikTok. Yeah.
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
you brought up the term big fly. Is that you? Did you come up with that yourself? Big fly?
Nah, Seymour says that.
Oh, it's his.
Yeah.
Oh,
He'll say it. Big fly.
big fly.
But
Yeah.
it rubbed off on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It sure did.
So shooting airmails. That's what it means, right?
Yeah.
Going
yeah.
for the airmail.
Like I just posted one. Logan hit one, and I think it says something like a big fly from the guy, something like that. But it's if someone hits a big fly, he throws it usually pretty high. Some of these other guys, just line drives.
line drive airmails. Yeah.
So Chad would really appreciate if y'all can work some big techs in there because we used to call 4-baggers big techs.
That's what it says in the rule book.
Yeah.
Chad loves that and
Yeah.
just don't like it.
I've created a really cool friendship and little kind of apparel sponsor with Easy Game 4-bagger
Easy
guys.
Game 4-bagger.
And I don't know where I came up with it, but it just rolled off the tongue, and it's just Easy Game 4-bagger. And
No, that works.
they
Yeah.
keep giving me shirts and bags and hats and flyers and all kinds of cool stuff, and so I just keep calling it the Easy Game 4-bagger.
Hey, that works. That works.
But yeah, it was, I hit him with the big text. Yeah, now in North Texas, it's boom, Easy Game 4-bagger.
I love it.
Yeah.
Man, we got people showing up for our Switch Holio today. You ready to throw some bags? Ready to compete?
Yeah, I brought my bags, and I actually brought a set that I'm selling to some guy that's going to meet me up here. He bought a set of Apollos.
Raffle.
No.
Huge profit.
No.
$6.25.
No, just $50. I tested them out, and just not really for me. And then kind of Stone said, "Hey, why don't you come throw my bag since it's your best bag?" I was like, "Deal."
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that was a no-brainer. I can't believe you weren't with those guys from day one. You were a Kraken guy to begin with.
Yeah, well,
And you're one of those guys where, like, another example I keep bringing up is Luke Anderson. Like, no matter who sponsors him, Center or Olympus, the dude's throwing those Krakens.
the dude throws the nastiest blue Krakens you've ever seen.
That's just the bag he likes.
Yeah.
And we've had the discussion about does the player make the bag or bag make the player? But sometimes a player has a connection with the bag. It's what he knows. It's what he's comfortable with. He loves that bag,
It's just
right?
time spent in it, and he's throwing that bag more than anything.
Yeah, and for you, from what I remember, it was the Kraken, and then you went over to Bag Brokers and you were throwing their stuff. But what are you throwing these days?
I'm throwing the Kraken, and I'm throwing the Demon.
The Demon.
Yeah.
What is that? Do you have one with you?
It's one of Stone. No, it's one of Stone's carpet bags.
Is it herringbone?
I think it's Wendigo, but Phoenixville.
I don't know. I'm not real keen on all the
Jeremy was
fills and all
explaining
that
it
kind
to
of
me.
jazz.
I don't want to mess it up and give
all
wrong
right.
information.
So you're throwing a carpet bag. That's kind of interesting.
It's nice because even with the Gambler and the Kraken, when it gets humid, those
Yeah.
things stop. But this Demon, it doesn't really get held up in the humidity. which we experienced sometime over at North Texas.
And you're a hole for hole airmail guy, right? You're
yeah.
not cutting and flopping and rolling for the most part.
No, I prefer someone to try to go hole for hole with me.
Yeah.
And then if you put one down there, I'm just gonna go over it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's the
We
game.
won't put
Yeah.
that to the test today.
Do it.
Now, what needs to be on your request list? I don't know if you already have it. A hot mic for Signature Series for wherever you're at. That way you can call out for big games coming on or whatever.
That'd be a hot mic. What do you mean by that?
Like, it's connected to the main speakers where you can call it out whenever you want to.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Do an intro.
Yeah, honestly,
That's probably the best way to do it instead of try to, like, stop the player and let them walk out to it. It's like, no, the game's coming up. Let me get out my Rolodex or whatever.
yeah,
and call it
I'm
out.
trying to get some headshots of some guys, starting with elite and then A's and B's and working the way down. But being able to kind of throw up on the mains or the screen, like in a singles match, your photo, and then being able to edit the PPR and the DPR and win loss or whatever for two guys coming up.
If
That's
you're
just
able,
on
That's
screen
something
graphics.
that I would.
yeah,
love.
if you're able to do that before these games, we're working on, or I should say TCL is working on having a live bar where they're going to have some TV showing the games too. So to pull up those graphics while people are hanging out in the bar area to watch the games, it's a whole nother environment. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like when you have the really good seats. Like my wife sometimes gets great seats at sporting events, and there's always that private club,
Right.
Like for the Stars games, it's
the
underneath.
Jack Daniels
Right.
Club.
And they've got and they are it was a tequila one last time, but they've got all the TVs showing the game that you should be watching.
Right, but
I get
you're
it.
in there drinking instead.
I get it. I get it.
So
That's a good idea, actually.
Chad wanted to do the bar, like the exclusive bar or whatever,
Yeah,
but you got to
yeah.
have something added to that besides just a bar. You know,
On that point, I had mentioned in Shreveport, since we seem to go there beginning and end of the year, is put the perch that we're on just in front of master controls, and then have another perch where ours was for that bar area.
I've thrown that out there. Or not the exact idea, but something similar. I just think that they love to have their seats for the main games too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I can't tell you how many times, drinking and not drinking, people would come up to me with their phone or their tablet. Hey, can you fix this? Hey, I'm missing I'm missing Johnny on 31. Well, that's not me, man. That's those guys. What the? And and then they get upset because I got to walk around and try to deal with Kanabe and those guys are really
Yeah, there
busy.
needs to be a big sign like rules officials or like if you need help, come here, not there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe some people walking the floor.
With zebra
Yeah,
shirts.
I mean, that specifically, yes, is a great idea, but that money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And there's we're spreading out so thin as it is, trying to make the event what it is. We need some volunteers. Baron, do you want to volunteer?
Absolutely not.
Hard pass. I no longer work for free for anybody. Hard pass. Hard.
What if you get a set of bags?
Oh God. Yeah, a set of bags. Yeah. Oh, you guys are going to give away a set of bags.
I made that mistake one time of helping them load everything after SIG.
They got it down to a science, though.
They do.
The only thing they need to make sure to leave out boards for your guys to warm up on for the championships. I think that's kind of a dick move to pull those boards away.
Do they, when they unload, does anyone take any type of wet or damp rag and wipe?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. You don't want to do that because that can just. I mean, I guess you can find the best way to clean them, but I don't want to do that.
Okay.
The boards, I like the board. They're slow. At least they're slow. If I go into a signature series and they're blazing fast, someone's going to get an earful, big time.
I think I'm going to wipe them all down next.
No, fast boards are the worst, and they lead to the most boring games because they're just going hole for hole. Screw that.
I went to a tournament once. I won't name names, but it was at a venue, and the boards were lightning fast.
Name
and
it.
I'm not. And the guy who ran the venue was a hole for hole guy. And it occurred to me, this dude set up the board just like when you go play a home game at baseball fields, and they'll, you can change the field
home
a little
field
bit.
advantage.
You can, you can change the field a little bit to be an advantage for your players or a disadvantage for the style of play that the opposing team is going to play. And it dawned on me like, this dude set this place up for his style of play. I respect that. I don't think it's cheating, right? I think it's actually kind of cool. Like I'm going to set my boards up super. Like if Grant had a place to play, he would have his board slow AF, right?
AF.
AF.
AF. You can pull out whatever Kraken, dude, whatever you want to.
It's sticking.
It's stopping. You might as well throw Sway, dog. But speaking of home court advantages, so Chad at his old house, biggest home court advantage. He had it up there in his little top area in his shop or whatever. His cleaners would go spray Pledge all over that thing and wipe it down or whatever. He knew it, and he was bag for bag. I'd go in there and try to block him, and never worked. It was just worst case scenario for me. Yeah, the home court advantage.
I've seen what Pledge can do to a board.
Do not put it on a board.
Ruins boards.
Yeah.
Do not put it on a board.
Yeah.
All right. You got something? Looks like you're going to say something.
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Well, Trey Sparks.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thanks you so much
Trey.
for coming on, and thanks for everything you do for cornhole around Texas. I think that you got some talent and passion, and thanks for sharing it with everybody.
One last thing. If you do have ideas for commentary or you want to get up there, something like that, email events@tclcornhole.com, and obviously that'll run through Jason, Chad, probably myself and Johnny Seymour, and we'll see what we can't do.
Cool. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. And remember, it's just a game.